Joining me now for the latest on all this nonsense emanating from the swamp. He sits on the House Oversight and Judiciary Committees, Arizona Congressman, also gubernatorial candidate for the Grand Canyon State, Congressman Andy Biggs. Back on the show. Andy, such a pleasure to see you again, my friend. How you been?
Good, Dan. I'd be better if the government was open, which it's hard for me to say, but that's the fact.
Yeah, I know. We always complain about the federal government being too big. I'm sure, though, look, there's a little good and bad. We can see what's essential and what's not essential with you all closed, and more Americans can see that we don't need the federal government holding our hand. But there are some essential things we do need from the federal government, and we can't get it done now because they want to hold things up over illegal alien health care. The 9th vote today in the Senate, Andy? Are you kidding me? I keep hearing from your colleagues this will all end next week after the lefties have their big No Kings protest in D.C. this Saturday. They're holding out for that. And then you'll probably get a few more to agree and we'll get it reopened next week. Is that what you're hearing?
Well, some people are speculating that after they hold the anti-America or We Hate America rally that they're going to have this next Saturday.
Nice title.
Yeah, then maybe they're going to open it up. But Dan, I have to emphasize this. People don't realize this, but it is a minority of the Senate that is blockading reopening government. Mm-hmm. So the Democrats are in the minority, and some of the Democrats are voting with the Republicans, but just not enough because the Senate has that 60-vote rule. So that's a problem. And then, the antics, the tantrums that the Democrats are throwing, the rhetoric that they're throwing out there is absolutely absurd.
Didn't 3 already come over, right, Andy? So we have 53. 3 came over. We're at 56. We need 4 more Democrat senators to come over. Just 4 more, right?
Well, we lost 1 Republican, so we need 5.
We lost a Republican. Who'd we lose?
Rand Paul's not voting for it. He's not voting for the CR.
Okay. So now we need 5 Dems. Okay. Thanks for that.
Yeah, you're 5.
All right.
You're 5.
What was the speaker made a note of that in his statements, and I think we got video, that they rammed into his office last night. I thought this was about the shutdown, but you say it was something else too. What was their stunt last night on why they stormed the speaker's office last night?
Well, they're trying to make a point that Adelita Grijalva, who was elected in a special election a couple weeks back, has not been sworn in yet. And so they say, oh, you're hiding the Epstein files because of that, and et cetera. But the bottom line is, if she were to be sworn in during a shutdown, guess what? She wouldn't really have staff because you can't hire anybody. And I know this because I'm short some staff. You cannot hire anybody during a shutdown. And so she'd be without staff.
Yeah, so what's the point? We'll get to it when the government reopens. Hello?
Exactly.
Hey, Democrats, reopen it the Senate side and your House girl will get confirmed. Okay, enough with that garbage. Yeah. Speaking of down the hall and storming offices and whatever, I thought this was an interesting clip and I wanted your take on it. Hakeem Jeffries goes on CNN, is arguing with liberal media gal Dana Bash, and she actually calls him out for not going down and putting out the olive branch and putting this to bed. Watch this.
You're right down the hall from Mike Johnson's office. I know exactly where you are. You could probably take a few steps and go knock on the door and talk to him. Have you tried that?
Speaker Johnson hasn't been given permission to have a conversation with me or Leader Schumer, and he said as much earlier today.
So you don't think he would talk to you at all?
We can have a conversation, but the problem is that until they get the green light to actually have a meaningful discussion to try to find common ground and a bipartisan path forward and a willingness to address the damage that Republicans have done to the health, the safety, and the economic well-being of the American people, then of course any informal discussion is going to be not fruitful.
Not fruitful, but now C-SPAN is reporting that Mike Johnson and Hakeem Jeffries are actually going to debate on C-SPAN about the government shutdown, the CR, and just, I guess, a bunch of other political issues. What do you make of that, Andy?
Well, I think Hakeem doesn't know that Mike Johnson used to argue cases before appellate and Supreme Courts, and is pretty good debater. So it'll be very interesting how that goes. But I'm kind of glad he's going to do it because what Hakeem doesn't realize is by them shutting down the government, the Democrats in the Senate, I've got constituents who can't get their small business administration loans processed. They might lose their business before it ever gets off the ground because they can't get the SBA loans. We've got people even in dry Arizona that can't get the floodplain insurance because of Hakeem Jeffries and the Democrats. So they're basically killing our economy for illegal aliens to get health care.
Yeah.
That's their message.
It was recovering, darn it, the last 8-9 months. Finally, while the Democrats were out on the steps of the Hill this morning complaining and whining and lying about you guys, especially Republicans in the Senate, a reporter caught up with Nancy Pelosi and asked a January 6th question. You've been such a fighter for January 6 folks that were wrongly persecuted and imprisoned. So I want to show this quick clip of what Nancy had to say about J6 and National Guard troops, and then I'm going to remind Nancy and the viewers of something, and we'll get your take on the backside. Go ahead.
Why did you refuse the National Guard on January 6th?
Shut up. I did not refuse the National Guard. The president didn't send it. Why are you coming here with Republican talking points as if you're a serious journalist?
The American people want to know. We still have questions.
Shut up. Who speaks to people that way? Oh, by the way, here's some headlines from Reuters, Washington Examiner, The Federalist. Trump wanted troops to protect his supporters on J6. Trump says he told the Pentagon 10,000 National Guard troops will be needed. Exclusive, Liz Cheney, Jan 6 committee suppressed exonerating evidence of Trump's push for National Guard. And then there's this video from January 6th as she was fleeing the Capitol, Nancy Pelosi saying this.
We have responsibility, Terry. We did not have any accountability for what was going on there, and we should have. This is ridiculous.
Andy, so today it's shut up. You're doing Republican talking points. Trump never asked. I got her on camera. I got the headlines. You get the final word.
Yeah, poor Nancy. She's long overstayed her welcome, but it has been empirically demonstrated that President Trump offered both the mayor of D.C., Bowser, and to Pelosi up to 10,000 National Guard troops because he wanted to keep it safe, and they both rejected him. So shame on her. Not only is she wrong, but she's rude about being wrong, and that's just that's inexcusable.
Could you imagine if that was someone on the R side looking at a reporter and screaming and talking that way? But it's Auntie Nancy, so it's fine. Andy, as always, thank you so much. Just want to show some video real fast. I've only got a few seconds left, but I know you were at yesterday's ceremony. I wish I could have made it to Washington, D.C. A amazing tribute and the Medal of Freedom Award given to Charlie Kirk posthumously, given over to his widow, Erica, by President Trump. That had to be just a powerful experience. Andy?
Yeah, awesome. It was great. It was well-deserved, and the movement's going to go forward even with more alacrity and more power, I believe.
Well, and TPUSA is in your home state, and they just keep growing and growing in Arizona and across this country. So God bless Charlie and all the TPUSA folks. Andy, God bless you. Best of luck in your run for Gov. Check out his website. You can follow him online. It's Rep. Andy Biggs, AZ. Take care, Andy.